On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, we have a 1 hour and 17-minute interview with the new head football coach at Oklahoma, Brent Venables. It's fantastic. Then we do winners and losers of the weekend. And that's it. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Monday, March 7th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and your health and safety are Riverwind's #1 priorities. There are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And Fridays in March from 6 p.m. to midnight, you can win your share of $80,000 in cash and bonus play in Riverwind's $80,000 courtside cash giveaway. Drawings are every 30 minutes, and grand prize winners will be selected at 11:59. If you need help finding your way, just visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the best. Now, we're recording this Sunday night. Please leave us a 5-star review and a nice comment. Remember, you can email the Oklahoma Breakdown at gmail.com if you would like to sponsor the podcast. And just a reminder, going to do a few Q&A, mailbag episodes, whatever you want to call them, in the off season where we're answering your questions. And the 3 ways to get us those questions: leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and comment with your question. Email us your question to the Oklahoma Breakdown at gmail.com, or tweet the podcast Twitter and use hashtag AskOKB. That's hashtag AskOKB. All right, now that that's out of the way, Ted, we've got the head football coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, and he had a lot to say.
Yes, he did. We didn't fire off a whole lot of questions, but I think we got filled in on pretty much everything, right?
We did, and yeah, we really don't have anything else to talk about. He pretty much covers it. It's like 1/8 interview, 7/8 TED Talk is how I would describe it.
Yes, exactly. Start to finish, laid out pretty much everything you would want. So people are going to love it.
All right. Here's Brent Venables. It is our pleasure to be joined by the new head football coach at the University of Oklahoma. Mr. Brent Venables is in the house. What's going on, BV?
Not too much, man. Good to be on with you boys.
How's it been? I know it's been insane ever since probably you got the call and found out that the job was open, but how are you managing the day-to-day? It's the first couple of months has to be the most difficult.
I don't look at it as difficult. Nothing happens as fast as you want it to, but just through experience as a coach and as a father, things have to happen, naturally and organically, I guess is the best way to put it. So patience is something that I've had to learn to accept.
You must have learned that recently.
Most recently. No, I'll be honest. Here's a couple things. One, most of the time you hear coaches take over a program, like when we did in 1999. Remember, they had not gone to a bowl game for 5 years. Oklahoma, the team that since 99 has gone on and has the most wins in college football, the most in the history of college football, has 50 conference championships. That Oklahoma, the same one. And it was a complete mess. There was a lot of pushback. There was a lot of overinflated opinions, just dudes that are in bad places, and a lot of complacency at the university. just a lot of issues. It was very dysfunctional. So, there's a lot to fix, and that's more the norm than not. When there becomes a new coach for an NFL team in college, you got a lot of stuff to fix. And I'm not saying we don't have our own warts. We got our own issues, but they pale in comparison in regards to most transitions when somebody becomes a new head coach. And so, there's a really solid foundation here. And this is a place that, again, we've won 78 games the last 7 years. We've competed in 3, college football playoffs in the last 5 or 6 years. We've won 14, I believe, the last maybe 16 Big 12 championships. I mean, that's the success that Oklahoma has had, recently, and again, in the history of college football is, we're in a very small elite company. So I say that with a lot of humility, knowing that, again, I'm taking over a program that it's certainly not in disarray compared to a lot of people. I'll just say that we have tremendous alignment and leadership in the university community with, President Harris and, Joe Castiglione, Zach Selman, Larry Nafee, and so many others. There's a lot of comfort for me because of, again, my experience here and history here. And then I've hired a wonderful staff, like a big time staff of not only really good, the X's and the O's, and, say Thad Turnipseed, Woody Glass, guys that are really experienced businessmen, professionals. They're not overwhelmed with anything, but really great people, great men, great leaders, great husbands. Their values align with mine. The vision of the program is a very clear vision for them. There's just a natural alignment, intentionally done by me. I kept a bunch of guys that were already here on offense, but I've known those guys. Like, it's not like, trust me, just because they're here and it was easy and convenient and they wanted to stay doesn't mean, for me, for Brent Venables, that isn't why they're here. It's because they fit me, they fit the culture, they fit our players. Their values align, who they are as people align. And that's, people always make the place. You can go stay at the Ritz-Carlton with the big old California Kings and the silk sheets and those big old fluffy pillows and all that, but the people at the front desk don't treat you right, you ain't going back. And people always make the place. This is a people business, so the same way I choose vet recruits, through a patient relational process, is the exact same way I hire staff. It's no different. And you got to focus on the root of the tree and quit focusing on the fruit. You focus on the root, you got to get the root right. I know this, you got to have the right seed before you can plant the right kind of harvest. And the seed always precedes the harvest. And same thing with building a program, man. You got to lay a foundation, man, that's a foundation of bricks and mortar and rebarb, not of sand and a lot of fluff and a lot of talk. And I've got to hire people that know how to be about it, and players that can be about it, and leadership that's going to be about it, not just talk about it. So a lot of proven winners on and off the field, and the locker room has been terrific. And we've got to reset some standards and reestablish accountability, and the things that it takes, the non-negotiables, whether that's uncommon effort or focused intensity, aggressiveness in everything we do. Make sure that everybody understands what the formula for success is. Doesn't change it. It isn't one thing for the coaches and then one thing for the players. It's the same thing for everybody. And we got to have a daily focus. How do you eat an elephant, Teddy? How do you eat an elephant?
I don't know, one bite at a time, I guess.
One bite at a time. It's like a simple thing. So instead of trying to get to 2022 September, man, that'll come at its time. It's got to Everything has a process to it. And so quit worrying about that. That'll take care of itself. Or it doesn't matter about that if we don't take care of today and really have a daily focus as a football program and be inside out in everything that we do. You know, where we're at today, we're not where Alabama is. You know, it is what it is. Can we get there? Absolutely. You know, but we got work to do. You know, you can name other programs, but we're going to be inside out in everything we do. I want our players to be inside out. I want our coaches to be inside out. I need our program to be inside out. And let's focus on the standard of this program. Let's focus on the standard of expectations that we've created for ourselves. There's plenty of expectations by everybody on the outside in, and there's so much that's pushed to our players. I've got to create an environment where I can insulate them, I can protect them, I can get them to focus, and I can get them to think the right way. Because there's a lot going on out here, and you know, we know that distractions are the enemy of greatness, right? Also on the other side, the complacency is an enemy of greatness too, you know? And so, you know, there's no entitlement for anybody. And we got to have just understand the attitude's going to carry this program. You got to have an attitude of belief. You know, attitude affects your mindset, it affects your heart. And so we got to make sure our guys are thinking the right way and our coaches are thinking the right way. And there's a cohesion and a synergy. But I've got to do a great job of making sure I have a very clear vision for what the purpose of this program is, what our values of this program are, what the root of that tree is. And because when you focus on the root and you make sure you bring in good soil, the players being the good soil, and then us coaches begin having the right men, the right leaders, the right people in our program that are throwing good seed, you know, in that soil, man, the fruit is going to happen. And you're going to have all kinds of great fruit, but you got to focus and protect and nurture and be very committed patiently on the root. And that's our foundation, you know, of our program. And so again, you got to have an attitude of belief. You know, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't believe in one another, in a system, in your players. And you know, and again, we got to lead from a place of optimism and love and connection. I just think that's what we want to be, a relationship driven program. So I've hired people that, again, to me, have those same types of values, but thinking the right way, being inside out, I think is where it all starts. And, you know, the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So, you know, think the right way, you know, and I just, you treat them like a dog, you kick them like a dog, you talk to them like a dog, they're going to act like a dog. And the same thing with our players. You hang out with dogs, you're going to get fleas. And so we got to surround ourselves with good people, not perfect people, but just good people with good intentions. And again, having a very clear vision for, you know, the purpose of our program, keeping the main thing, what it's going to be about, you know, just being a relationship driven, a faith driven, again, having an attitude of belief and making sure that our guys understand, you know, again, you know, what we're aiming at. You know, we talk about different, you know, times of the year, what we're focused on, what the target is. There's so much stuff going on. You know, don't worry about the NFL draft. You know, don't worry about someday. Just worry about today. You know, someday's never going to happen. You just focus on today and just be great today. And then that's all, again, that's the one bite at a time thing, right? You know, just focus on being great today, right where your feet are. And you're not promised tomorrow. And yesterday is, you know, it's a dead yesterday. You want to learn from your past, good and bad. It doesn't matter whether you won, whether you lost, it don't matter. It's always about what's next. And so again, just getting back to just having that, you know, that daily focus, you know, and having purpose in everything you do. But really, you know, want to be a program that focuses on what's best for the players. And as we know, sometimes what's best for the players, they don't always agree with or like, but that's it's just like running your own house, you know, it's wisdom, it's judgment, it's experience. And, you know, I want, when young people come here, I want them to be attracted to the relationships, to a family environment, to come somewhere to get connected to something that's going to last a lifetime, equipping our guys with tools and as husbands and as fathers and just as businessmen and CEOs. It's like the roulette table out there in Vegas. We swung through, we went to, we go to Palm Springs and did Sooners in the Desert and stopped, have dinner and throw a few dice. Some guys, they had never done it before, so we stopped and did that. And there's this table called the roulette table. You know what that looks like?
Red, black.
I know what it looks like. Yeah,
I'm asking you guys. You guys know what it looks like? Yes, I'm asking.
Ben, I've placed a better 6.
Okay.
I've got the table layout. I've got the table memorized. I've got a full system on how to play roulette. I'll show it to you sometime.
All right, so check it out. I think when you look at like roulette, it's like red and black and odd and even. It's like Russian roulette. I think I call Russian roulette. It isn't good odds for you, okay? All right, seems pretty simple, and it is. It's for meatheads, okay? But what I want to make sure our players don't come to Oklahoma and they put it all on red. Like they're putting everything they got on football, okay? Because that's going to be empty, and that's not going to be fulfilling. And as we know, they're going to live most of their life without the game. And so we got to get them to focus and think the right way. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big, man, and facilitating their dreams to be great college players, to be drafted highly in the NFL draft and have a 10, 12, 15-year career in the NFL. That's great. And we're as good as anybody, at facilitating those dreams. That's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing. But we also need to make sure that if less than 2% of all college football players make an opening day roster in the NFL, then let's focus 98% of our time on the true return on investment. And that's education. Okay. That's going to create more opportunities than anything, okay, for the rest of their life. Okay. Let's focus on, development in every part of their life. Okay. Again, as men, and career development, academic development, and support, life skills development, have an opportunity to grow in their faith if they're looking to, some guys have no foundation. Some guys come in with a foundation. Shame on us if we don't provide, resources for them to continue to grow in their faith. That's a good thing. I believe you need a foundation that's going to, again, because life's going to bring you to your knees now, whether it's death in your family, it's cancer, it's failure, lose a job, whatever it is, and I just believe that you got to have a higher power, that you can, help you weather those storms. And I just believe in that. And at the same time, we got to have, there's a lot of young guys that come in here and they're big, they're strong, they're 5 stars, whatever they are. And they don't have a lot of courage in anything other than football. And our job is to help them have the courage to run towards their giants, whatever they are, not away from them, and run towards your giants. And so again, I just believe in, hiring, holistically a staff that's equipped, that can help our players on and off the field, year round, 24/7, whether it's curriculum or it's, again, just having people that are there to, help lead our guys, pour into them, so, that's what we've created, a village here, and we're still working on that village. And it takes a village to raise a child, and I can't do it alone. I've got to be able to have peace that, we've got people on layers of support and communication, and there's trust. People are, connected, and I got to find the right kind of people too. Like I said, that good soil. Continue to. And it takes time too for us as coaches to evaluate all these kids out there, what they're coming from, their families. What their why is, their academics, what kind of a teammate they are. All those things matter. And just like, all these things I'm talking about, just you don't snap your fingers and it's all exactly like you want. It doesn't happen that way. It has to be a process to it. And so for us, there's got to be a process too, and developing relationships with, recruits, and don't be like everybody else. They want to, or I say everybody, I'm painting it with a broad brush, but it's all the great players, everybody's recruiting, they have all these offers. Doesn't mean it's a great fit for Oklahoma and what we want. We want to attract guys that value education, looking for family. They want connection. They want to be held accountable. There's structure and accountability and discipline. You're going to go to school. You're going to go to your tutors. You're going to go to your learning specialists. Oh, you ain't playing. It's pretty simple. And we're going to hold them accountable. We're not going to look the other way. You're not going to use them to win games. Okay. You're going to do things the right way, because that when you leave and the game's done, that's what the real world's all about. You're going to be held accountable for your actions. And, but we want to help. Again, some guys, they, like I said, they don't have the confidence. They don't know what they want. They have never really thought about it. We got to get them to focus on the man in the mirror and just, I just believe, I think one of the best things that you have, that I believe, my maker gives to us, man, is your dreams. He puts those thoughts in your mind, and, he just helps you, have vision for what you want your future to look like. And that's a good thing. We need to help, again, facilitate that. And some guys, they don't know what that looks like, what their purpose is, what their passions are. And we, through relationships and over time and workshops and things, we can help find out what else that they're really good at, they're passionate about, what they love to do, their purpose on this earth. And that's where I feel like you'll get real fulfillment in your life and have a life of substance, and where you feel great about what you're doing every day. And so, again, just developing mindset, culture, attitude. Gandhi says your destiny is tied to your beliefs. It all starts where your beliefs are. And so I think that's a cool thing. Our guys are process driven, and some things are okay. All right. If your destiny is tied to where your beliefs are, you got to think the right way. If you're thinking negative stuff in, you're going to get negative stuff out. You put positive stuff in your mind and positive people around you, then you live more of a positive life. You have positive results. Positive thinking is positive results. So, I think just taking time, instead of it got to be ball 24/7, doesn't have to be ball 24/7. You got to get the other stuff right. And the ball, which we all inherently know how to do really well, coach it, teach it, play it. That's just what I believe, and if we don't get the root of the tree right, and if I've learned something through the years, Kansas State, it was very, focused that way. And we had a great foundation of commitment and work and what success looked like, and paying a price. Well, when we were here in the, in late 1990s and then into the 2000s. And then when I went to Clemson, it was, very culture driven program. And Coach Sweeney is an amazing leader, he's a tremendous man. He's a great coach. And, so I've been fortunate. I've only been a part of 3 staffs, but 3 Hall of Fame coaches like Bill Snyder, Bob Stoops, and Dabo Swinney. You kidding me? And I wasn't just hanging out. I'm paying attention to everything. If they said it, if it came out of their mouth, I wrote it down. I got notes forever. And I try to teach my own players that. I teach my own kids that. And if somebody's got something to say, man, write it down. And you're always learning, you're always growing. So I want to be a program that is progressive, is forward thinking, and we're innovative. You can't ever stay the same. I said earlier, just complacency is the enemy of greatness, man. You got to always push forward, always look for, what's next, who's doing what better. You don't have all the answers, and that's okay. It's when your ego's getting away and you get stuck in your ways, and the only way, you're not open to change or improving and evolving. And just because it was good yesterday doesn't mean it's good today. And so you gotta check your ego at the door. And I got to be that way, as a leader. I've always prided myself on being a great teammate. I'm trying to be great today.
We'll get you right back to the interview. But first, The only place to stop when you're road tripping is Love's Travel Stops. Love's has over 560 locations in 41 states, offering 24-hour access to clean and safe places. Whatever your road trip needs are, Love's has it. Fuel, fresh food, all the snacks and drinks, including, yes, my favorite, Java Amore. That coffee is fantastic. Love's also has you covered if you forget your phone charger or headphones. They've expanded their mobile to-go zone so you can grab any of that stuff there. Make sure you download the Love's Connect app for exclusive offers from today's most popular brands. The Love's Connect app also includes a route planner and store locator. When you see that red neon heart on the highway, stop in and say hi at Love's Travel Stops. For a full list of what Love's has to offer, visit loves.com.
Opolis Clothing is the home for all of our Oklahoma Breakdown merchandise. Make sure you go buy our Buttery Soft It Ain't Good Enough shirt or the Texas Sucks shirt. Go to opolisclothing.com. That's OPOLIS clothing.com and use our promo code TED, TED, for 10% off of your entire order. You still get a discount on all of the OU and Oklahoma City Thunder gear as well. That's opolisclothing.com. Use the promo code TED for 10% off, Buttery Soft, and 10% off.
All right, back to the interview.
Like my career, if somebody said, let me fly on the wall and watch Brent Venables go to work every day, the picture that comes to my mind is somebody holding me under the water trying to drown me. And I'm fighting like hell. You ain't gonna drown me. And that's how, that sense of desperation is how I've showed up to the office, the practice field, recruiting, whatever game day, don't matter. And I'm just high on life. I love life. I'm full of energy. I've got all kinds of scars, all kinds of warts on me. You know, I'm not perfect, but I've always been a great teammate. And I've never wanted to let anybody down, not my players, not my colleagues, not the constituency that I represent. I've always taken a lot of pride on how my guys play and perform, and the work that I put in, because I believe you can still outwork people, you can still outcompete, you can outthink. You know, it's not always just the talent. You know, I think there's a lot of ways that you can close a gap, and that's the awesome thing about this game, all the things that it teaches. And so anyway, I believe you know, when again, I go back to, you said how crazy busy it is, you know, just, you can only take it one day at a time. You know, I learned something from Coach Sweeney. It was just have a singular focus, man. And you can't do it all, you know, in a day. Just focus on being great today, having a windshield mentality. You know, it's always, again, that's why God put your eyes in front of your head, right? You know, eyes forward, be forward thinking in everything you do. Again, that doesn't mean you completely forget about your past. Let's say you're riding shotgun with me right now, right? Me and you are riding shotgun. Gabe, we got all three of us up in the front seat, but I'm driving. Okay, I'm a senior here. Okay, so y'all are riding shotgun with me. All right, can you see it? Yes or no? Can you see it?
I got it.
Okay, good.
I got it.
All right, good. All right, talking here. Here we go. So we're riding down the road here, and we got this little small rear view mirror. We got a big old windshield, but Coach V is focused on the past. He's looking in that rear view mirror, and I'm staring at Gabe. What am I going to do?
You're probably going to get in a wreck and kill us, Coach.
Yeah, this bad boy is getting ready to go in the ditch if I'm focusing on, you know, the past. And so again, that's the same thing I want for our players, our program. We got to focus. Yeah, again, learn. Whether you win, whether you lose, man, it's always about what's next. And you know, Coach Sweeney, I love, man, he would just hammer that, you know, and that's something that's always resonated with me. I've always articulated. I've always had that kind of mindset. And I think that's what the best of the best do. They can learn from the past. They can learn from others. Let somebody else's taillights be your headlights. You know, learn from others. Have some humility to learn from others. You know, that's a good thing. I think the best leaders, if they do something, you know, they're willing to be led. And we've had some incredible examples. Our own Maker, you know, was that way. So, but I just show up with passion every day. I just think if you're ever, you know, if you don't love what you do, you'll never be great at it. And I learned that a long time ago. And a walk on like I did. And you just got to figure stuff out, man. But you got to love that journey, all of it. You're going to be down in the mud. You're going to be down in the valleys. And that's where nobody loves to be, but that's where the real growth happens. There's got to be challenge in order for there to be some change in your life. Challenge is what we all need. And, we're taught and we grow and improve by and through challenges. That's the only way it can happen. The improvement process, sometimes it's discouraging, but it leads to change. And that's ultimately, what we want to do. So just in getting better and those types of things. So really just trying to be very open, honest, and transparent with the players on developing relationships that have to happen over time. It can't just, I'm your coach and like, okay, I'm the best coach you ever had. And everything's great. No, man, you have to nurture those relationships. They take time. And, but that's exciting. That's a fun part of, what we're doing. And, but we got to get our guys to be intentional about everything they're doing. If we're going to be a great program, if we're going to be the uncommon program in college football, we got to do the common things in an uncommon way. We got to be focused on the details. We got to have a formula for success. It looks like having a daily focus where we're preparing, but not only preparing because everybody's preparing with purpose. We got to be intentional. We got to understand our purpose. We got to have, effort. Yes. Uncommon effort in everything that we do, non-negotiable, but we got to have effort with technique. You can't just have a guy, playing, going down full speed on the kickoff, but he doesn't have a technique, a gap that he's got to fit in, crossing face, whatever that is, leveraging the football. He's got to have effort with technique. That leads to execution. Okay. And then we got to have just this all-in commitment to doing your best in everything that you're doing. How you do anything is how you do everything. And, we got to make sure that our guys are committed on and off the field. You can't be, an all-American football player and just be a complete moron in the classroom. My experience has been, your habits, they carry over. If you're inconsistent on the field or in the classroom, that's usually what you are in one or the other, and you got to make excellence a habit and not being perfect, but just guys committed to doing their best, not focusing on being the best. Because I think when you focus on being the best, how many national championships are there a year? National championships in football. So it's in college, it's one. And if it's all in, if it's Russian roulette and you come up and you don't win it all, man, you can have a great year. Sometimes it's just not in the cards. Maybe your starting quarterback, gets hurt, and, maybe you're really young on defense, man. Sometimes it's not in the cards. That doesn't mean you don't have a great year, that you don't like all the effort, all the work, all the sweat, all the growth, isn't a great year. I don't want to be a fatalistic program. That's not who we're going to be. We're going to have high standards. We're going to have, big time goals. And, but, I want our guys to understand that, if you're committed to doing your best, you have an all-in commitment to doing your best in everything that you do. Okay. That we're going to measure our success by that, our commitment, our work ethic, our leadership, our love for one another, our stick-to-itness, our ability to endure, our ability to persevere. That's how you measure success. Sometimes we were 10-3 at Clemson this year. And, a lot of people are like, oh man, this guy's wrong. Man, we had a great year. We lost a couple of real tough games, a couple really tough losses, and what could have gone either way. But our guys just kept fighting. I think they were 1-2 to start the year, and go win 8 straight games, and when again, I think that's the 12th straight year that Clemson's won 10 plus games. It's only the third time in the history of college football that it's been done that many years in a row. That's pretty big time. If it was so easy, why isn't everybody else doing it? Right? It's so easy. Why isn't everybody else doing it? So, winning is really hard, as we know, like really, really, really hard to win. Okay. Winning consistently is even harder. Like that's the mark of any really good player, in my opinion. People want to use great way too loosely for me. Great is like, whoa, Whoa, great. You know, great is a whole nother place. Not many people or programs get to great, like great. Okay. To me, to be really good, the best, probably the number one quality is consistency. You know, consistent mindset, consistent work, consistent intensity, consistent response. You know, just being that Learjet, man, above them clouds. And that's what I want from our players, and that's what I definitely want from our program. I'm not trying to have a great team. I'm focused on have a great program. A great program has roots. A great program has sustainability. A great program has longevity. A great program has a foundation that can weather the times. And you know, well-managed success and well-managed failure is what it's all about. That's going to determine whether or not we're going to be, you know, that consistent model program. And so we got to do a good job in both the good times and bad. Really, the hardest time to lead is when things are going great. You got to, it's called well-managed success. You got to manage your success. Just because you have been winning doesn't mean, you know, you're going to keep winning. You know, we're not entitled to anything. I'm not entitled to be the head coach at Oklahoma. None of these players are entitled to be on scholarship here. You know, you gotta earn it. And just like we got to earn the opportunity to win. And just because we won all those Big 12 championships, we won all those games, or, you know, we won the most conference championships in the history of college football, that doesn't matter. None of that matters. You know, it only matters.
Has that been hard? I think that's a good point, because like a lot of, like you were talking about, when you come into a program, a lot of times it's bad. We're picking up the pieces and everyone's real anxious to hear, okay, what do I got to do to be good? And everyone's real receptive. But when you come in somewhere and it's been pretty good, right? You've won 10 or more games. You've ripped off a bunch of conference championships. Is there pushback to say, well, we've been doing this and this has worked? You know what I'm saying? Is there,
sure.
To get that extra little bit is the key.
Listen, amazingly, no pushback at all. Like I'm a big body language guy. I'm a big focused intensity kind of guy. And so I got a good vibe on people. And I'm, you know, anybody knows me, I'm not a sunshine pumper. Okay. It's not me. Now I feel like I'm a positive dude. I bring juice, I bring energy, I bring passion. I love what I do. Okay. But I'm also going to call it how it is. I'm very realistic. And sometimes you can get to a bad spot there too, you know? Yeah. So anyway, we've had just amazing buy-in. Like when we've tried to, you know, raise the standard, we've tried to squeeze them, and they've responded. And you know, to me, I want our guys to compete to a standard, show up with a standard. Whether that's show up to a team meeting, my expectations, y'all bring a notebook and you're taking notes. That's been pretty good. Can be better. It's been pretty dang good. You know, I'm looking around the room and man, I can feel dudes burning a hole through me, you know, with focus and just investing in the moment. And but I want our guys to just really embrace, you know, competing to a standard, how we work, how we compete, how we respond, how we play, how we cover to the ball, you know, how we respond to adversity, how we respond to success. Those are the things that really matter to me. And understanding that we're showing up and competing to a standard every day. And but you have to clearly define those standards, and then you have to reinforce it nonstop. You have to rehearse your beliefs nonstop to your coaches, to your staff, to your players, for them to, you know, truly, you know, again, buy into it. And you know, talent can give you a chance to win, but I know without question that character sustains it. And I've been just really pleased with, you know, the character of these guys, and again, how they've showed up, worked, competed, responded. There hasn't been, well, you know, man, this is messed up, you know, or I can't do it. Man, we've had a can-do attitude. It's been, and again, we've got plenty of guys that maybe, this day or that day, we've got some guys fall short and not have their best day, but man, they've come back and responded. I know that. And again, just having been here at Oklahoma, back in '99, we're in a much better spot. I think we all know that. And so I just compare it to that. Or again, at Kansas State, that was a natural over a period of time, that transformation. But it's belief, it's attitude, it's character, it's toughness, it's work ethic. It's all the same simple stuff. The RPOs and all that stuff, that don't matter. That does not matter. You better get that other stuff right first. And so we've been really doing that, and just really, I want our guys excited about their college experience. Culture of graduation, culture of accountability. We want to equip our players, intentionally equip them with tools that are going to last a lifetime. Okay, that nobody can take from them. And there's going to be a natural maturation that takes place. That 17, 18-year-old version needs to be a lot different than that 21, 22, 23-year-old version. Okay, whether that's education, that's physicality, that's mental strength, that's purpose in their life. There's just real growth and maturation that takes place, and that's so cool. It's such a fun thing, and what a blessing that is to be a part of that journey. And but you want them to have a good time. What they do is hard. Like the grind is the grind. It's a very demanding thing, but you want them to have joy in their journey, man. You want them to look back and 30, 35 years old. You want them to look back and, man, it was tough, man, but it helped make me, helped shape me, helped form me, supported me. They loved me. They didn't use me. I'm better for it. I had a great college experience. Yeah, I might have fell short here or there, some of my goals, but man, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Man, that's what you want. And even more, you want even more. And, just got to get these guys, to just have competitive stamina in everything that they do. Because it's a race, man. So just to have the endurance that they need to have a great, collegiate experience, and to get them to understand that, it's all right to fail. It's not all right to be a failure, and just don't quit, and that's got to be a non-negotiable. We don't ever quit in anything. And, you got to have uncommon effort. You got to have not just intensity, not just focus, you have a focused intensity. And again, we're going to be aggressive in everything. And, I just think those are, again, some non-negotiables that you want them to show up with, every day. And there's some guys that are right at the end of their career, here at Oklahoma, and I've told them, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start right where you're at, and you can change the ending. And so to try to create buy-in from that standpoint, because I believe in that. You don't worry about the past. You can't change it. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start right where you're at and change that ending. So again, I just believe in these young people they need leadership now more than ever. Some of them have a great support system at home. Man, we got to take that torch, man. We got to run with it, man. People are counting on us to grab that baton and run our race in such a way as to win. And we got to help, and that just means doing your best. That's all that means. Just do your best with what you got. And a lot of young guys, they come here from some tough circumstances. I grew up in tough circumstances. That's helped me create purpose for our program, and certainly for our players, and certainly for myself. Through education, to create some opportunities. We had a lot of dysfunction in my house, whether it's domestic abuse or alcoholism. I lost a brother to addiction. He let our circumstances, destroy him. And, the good Lord, he had something different for me. And I believe that. And he created purpose through that pain and that mess for me. And it became very clear for me. And then he surrounded me with some amazing people. And again, whether it was Coach Sweeney, there can't be a better example of what a great person, what a great man, husband, father, believer, coach looks like. Coach Stutes, what can you say? He's his class, and big time of a man, and again, a leader. as it gets. And Coach Schneider, man, he was the master of the greatest turnaround in the history of college football, and just an amazing mentor, for me as both a player and a coach. So, like I said, I've tried to take a little bit of everything, and bring it with me.
We'll get you right back to the interview. But first, attention business owners. You need Insurica in your life. Yeah, you do. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. Insurica's clients become best-in-class businesses by working with Insurica's team of advisors to manage risk. Purchasing insurance is only one way to protect your business. Best-in-class businesses win by avoiding a loss in the first place. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. I'm an Insurica client, and you should be too. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
Guys, weather's getting warmer, but the weather doesn't matter because it's always hard seltzer season, baby. And there's only one hard seltzer that we drink on this podcast, and that is Sonic Hard Seltzer from Coop Ale Works. It's perfect for any occasion. We drink in the hot tub, by the fire, and at the tailgate. You can buy 12 packs of the iconic Sonic drive-in flavors like cherry limeade and ocean water, or you can grab a citrus variety pack or a tropical variety pack. Find it at your local grocery, convenience, and liquor stores.
All right, back to the interview.
When did you, because your story, like your background, your family life, and that's been something that you talk about a lot now, but that wasn't always the case, right? Because I didn't know your history. When did it come to you that this is powerful? This is something that I can use to help these kids, to build relationships with these kids, to show that, like my path and where I started, where I've come through, and just kind of use that as a tool with these players and recruits and just everyone.
Yeah, that's a great question. Something again, talking about, God will sometimes, give you a mess, and there's a message through it, put you through a lot of pain, and there's purpose through it. And certainly I grew up in a tough way. And, in many ways, I thought I was rich. I thought my normal was the normal, I really did. And, but I also knew very clearly some things that I know I needed to do, like go to college and get a degree, so I don't financially have to rely on other sources of income to create a very toxic, terrible environment for anybody. But I'll be honest, it's probably here at Oklahoma late in my career, and having I tragically lost Austin Box, lost my brother. Well, that was within probably 6 hours of each other, that lost both of them, both to addiction, overdose. My brother was an functioning alcoholic, and he was incredibly bright, smart. He wasn't some guy out on the street with a brown bag. He had a great job. He was, and he's just so intelligent, super athletic. Just had a huge personality. Everybody loved him, funny. And he let his demons get him. And I say he couldn't overcome them. And lost my mom and my stepdad to cancer. Just both of them. Just a lot of things happened for me just in about a 5-year period of time. And sometimes it takes things like that to happen, go through some things, some challenges, for their, to look at things differently, or maybe to, finally say, you know what, God put this on my heart, through this, I need to share this. And it really took me going away, and allow myself to be vulnerable, transparent, humbled, to be in an environment that Coach Sweeney created, said, you know what, it's okay not to be okay, and where I don't know, I'd always had the mindset that, that I didn't want to, share whatever problems or troubles or issues that would be excuse making and show signs of weakness. And man, I got to be strong. And I was good with that. But I always knew that could probably help. I don't know. But I got the strength and the courage to run towards those giants, and what I've been preaching to my guys, I finally did it myself. And I think it's freed me up in a lot of ways. It really has. And I think it's been able to bring out the best in me. And I really be honest, I owe that to the environment I was in at Clemson, that, everybody knew everybody. There was a real deep-seated connection there. And I really felt like that was a competitive advantage. I'll be honest, the connection, the love, it's very genuine. You can't fabricate it. And I want to create the same environment here. And I know you can do it if your intentions are right. If it's coming from the right place, that's a natural, easy, organic thing to do.
Coach, I do want to talk a little football with you, although all of this stuff it's so damn good. But looking at it sounds like winter is going really, really well. You talked about the buy-in. Looking ahead, and I know we're not supposed to look too far ahead, but looking towards spring ball, I mean, what are your goals for you and this team for spring ball? What are you hoping to get out of those spring practices?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, again, it's we're in the get ready phase for us right now, and that's just about, again, daily improvement. Making sure that we're competing and playing and practicing to a standard, getting our guys to understand the correct way to practice, the right way to prepare every day. Just a lot of standards and processes. Get them to understand what uncommon effort looks like. Showing up with, again, a daily focus. Prepare with purpose, practice with purpose. You don't just come to practice, man. You got to have purpose to what you're doing. And I think purpose brings passion, intensity, and focus. You got to have great effort. Not only great effort, but again, effort with technique, and again, an all-in commitment to doing your best and trying to stack those days on top of each other. And but focus on daily improvement, and kind of give them that formula to allow them to have success. It's a really pretty simple thing, and just, again, one day at a time. We got to get guys better fundamentally. This is a developmental game. The more you practice, the more reps you take, the better you get. Most guys need that development. And so really focus on the development piece when it comes to fundamentals, and certainly getting our schemes down and installation, having a great comfort level by the end of the spring where our players can run, practices a few times a week during the course of the summer to continue to work on their game, and develop the quality depth that we got to have. Lines of scrimmage, finding the playmakers on both sides of the ball. We have a variety of newcomers, at all three levels on defense, and a few new guys at tight end and at running back, or say tight end and at offensive line, on offense and at quarterback. And we're still looking to add a couple of guys too here throughout the spring. So, getting those guys transitioned is important. But everybody's starting with a clean slate and getting, again, our schemes installed on both sides of the ball.
What do you think of the Big 12? It's crazy how much different this league is today than whenever you were last here. And really, it kind of has only happened here in the last couple of years. Like, we went from the wide open, we'd have like 3 or 4 teams at the top 5 offenses in the country. And then kind of that some of that mindset. We had some head coaching changes, some more defensive oriented coaches, and it's slowed down. It's more of a balanced league now than maybe it's been in a long time. And what's been your impressions? Have you started to kind of sort through some of the opponents?
Well, again, it's just what you said. It is very competitive. Obviously, Baylor and Oklahoma State finished first and second in the league. Oklahoma State's been one of the most consistent programs next to us. You know, they're the second most consistent program. And, good players at a lot of the schools. You saw the improvement Kansas made, taking, Texas. I guess they beat them maybe in overtime. And it was a tough game for the Sooners. I'm watching people huddle up, breaking out of the huddle. Last time I coached a game that people broke the huddle we were playing Iowa in a bowl game. And,
I played in that game.
Yeah. So
That's part of the danger of the huddle is the camera might fall on you, right? Didn't the camera
Skycam fell?
No, I mean, it's been, I've watched a bunch of people already just to try to get a good feel, and excellent players still, really good skill, good quarterback play. But there is a little bit more depth to the league and the schemes, and I'm not sure if it's as drastic. I mean, there's a lot of the ACC had lots of variety in that league, whether it's the triple option of Paul Johnson or the 3 and 4 tight end sets of Boston College, and the Gus Malzahn stuff down at Miami, or the Jimbo pro style of offense at Florida State for a good while. There was a lot of variety, and but there's more variety without question than there was when I left, and different styles of play and whatnot. So and got some teams that are playing good defense too. So it's really exciting.
Speaking of the defense being played in the league, I'm not sure if you've decided this or not, but with your background, with how successful you've been as a defensive coordinator, are you still going to call the defense as a head coach? Is that a decision you've made yet, or is that something you're still kind of working through?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the intentions to call it, but both sides of the ball be very involved and empower the coaches. But we have a system and a philosophy that we believe in on defense, and I've hired coaches that know that system, that understand that philosophy, and I think will do a great job. But always have some part in it too.
When's the last time you didn't call it? That's gonna be a change. That's gonna be tough. I don't picture you just standing there and being like, yeah, I'm not gonna be involved in this. It's gonna be difficult. I know you'll be on the headset, but you still gonna need a get back guy?
I mean, I didn't need him. Okay, first of all. All right. I didn't need him. I've never had a penalty. Never once. So how many years? I don't know how many years. Never had a penalty. So, that is what it is. And maybe it was because of the get back guy was, he did a great job. I don't know. But here's what I know is I don't need one. I'll be just fine. And I've probably gonna be karma, right? But no, I believe in the preparation, the preparation. That's where, game day should be a lot easier, and so we got to do a great job from a preparation standpoint. I love practice. I love creating more strain in practice than could ever happen in a game. I believe in that. And our guys will be prepared to play at a high level. And again, our coaches will be prepared to coach them at a high level on game day. So I think the team, just my belief is that the team needs me to be their head coach, and I've got to do a good job of hiring good coaches that know what they're doing. And we've gone through all the scenarios and the situations and how we're going to play the game, and again, game day, it certainly has its own challenges, and you've got to make adjustments, and timing of things are important, but players got to make plays too. You can't You want them to play fast and aggressive, and you want to put them in a competitive advantage position. And I think you do that. But and again, just like, I don't know who, name a defensive coach that's out there that's a head coach. Name him.
Dave Aranda.
Dave Aranda.
All right, Dave Aranda. And Dave don't say a whole lot. When he was at DC, he didn't say a whole lot. He doesn't say a whole lot as the head coach. So I just watch people, and he's a terrific coach. But all right, that's not a good example. All right, give me another one.
I think it's just you and him are the
and
only
let's
two
go
head
to the
coaches.
national champion. Let's go to the national championship.
Okay, yeah, Kirby.
Oh, there's two good ones, right? So what's your impression on Kirby? Is he calling the defense, or is he involved?
Involved.
Yeah, he's very involved. How about Nick Saban? You think he's involved on that defense?
Involved.
Okay, but he's
heavily involved.
All right, and he's been the gold standard for winning national championships the last, whatever it's been, 12, 15 years, and Georgia just won one. So there's two examples of defensive coach. I'm not saying I'm them or whoever. I got a lot to prove.
I'll say it.
Right? No, but there's some examples, and I don't know. Does Dave call it? Does Coach Aranda call it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's a good question.
But he's been known as defensive acumen, as good as there is in college football. He's a great teacher. He's a great fundamentalist. Systematically, looks like they're doing a lot of some of things very similar, and but you got to believe he has his hands in it, and they playing good defense. So there's three dang good defensive teams right there with defensive head coaches. Anybody else? Who else is out there? Anybody else in the league?
Well,
There's
Mel Tucker that just
offensive-
went to Michigan State. He's a defensive guy.
Yeah, they won.
Gosh, I don't know. Is there anyone else? There's not even anyone else because Patterson is now gone. He was at TCU,
Right.
but he
Sonny
called
Dykes
it, though,
is an offensive
right?
guy.
Didn't
The guy that
Patterson
replaced
call
him.
it?
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. Well, again, I just believe I got to do a great job of being a head coach too. And again, I got great coaches. I've got great coaches, experienced, tough guys, smart guys, passionate, intense. We've hired some dudes. And so I'm excited to see them, take this opportunity. Our guys will be ready to play. I'm intense and I'm passionate, but I hired some guys that are also that way. Nobody has to be like me, Again, what I do isn't the only way. There's lots of ways to approach it and to have a lot of success. So I think people are going to be really excited about what they see.
Speaking of one of those guys that you brought in on your staff, how important was it for you to get Jeff Lebby back to Oklahoma? I mean, with all the success we've seen him have at Ole Miss and then at UCF before that, how important was it for you to get an OU guy back to be the offensive play caller?
Well, I mean, it's to me, it's the best of all worlds. It wasn't a necessity, just like keeping Kill Gundy or Joe John or DeMarco or Bill Beatonbow, that wasn't, they're Oklahoma guys, and so they get to stay. That's not how this works. Not for me. They're all here because they're really good at what they do, and they're great people on top of that. So really talented people, you got a pretty good line, really talented people, but really talented people that have good intentions and their values align. Now that's a much shorter line, and they all are in that line. Jeff's in that line. Jeff's had great success. I do like, I'm a relationship guy. I want to kind of know who they are. I want to know who they are. And, so he said yes to Oklahoma twice now. And, I know who he was as a player. And then I love that he's grinded in the profession and he's figured it out. He's played played and coached different positions. And then, he became, one of the more innovative and smart coaches in college football. He's shown an ability to do more with less. And I love it. He's got a great presence to him, super smart, big dude that's got a great heart. tremendous, husband and father. Just, man, he's a fun person. But he's got a great sense of humility too. And I love that about him. So he's a really strong natural leader.
He had one of the most balanced offenses in the country at Ole Miss, run and pass. Like they're really balanced. But do you guys have a conversation about, because it's hard. You want your offense to go score as many points as possible, right? And go right down the field, but you also want to play complementary football. Is there a conversation about that balance between going fast and scoring fast, or helping your defense out, or is that just a game day thing?
No, I think, yeah, that's an awesome question. And we have talked about that. And Jeff's a team guy. Jeff's, you don't just have this much success and be, centered on just yourself. And there's some people that are very centered on, no, this is the way we do it. This is the way I believe. I'm about me. I'm about, us. And, but that's not who Jeff is. But yeah, we spoke about that a few times, and I believe in that. You manage it how you feel you need to manage it. I think that's strategy 101, and, first and foremost, the number one goal is to win the game. Everybody else gets, all excited about, how much you win by and those kind of things. And the number one objective is to win the game. So what do we got to do to win? And what's that formula for success look like this week? And some of it's the same every week. You want to change it up. If you have a good system, then why change it up every week? If you got good messaging, why change it up? You don't need to change it from year to year. You stick to it. You nurture it. You evolve. You make it better, but you don't need to change it, And, so, we've got to be able to, I think the best of the best teams, they do that, not just naturally, but I do think that you have to be very intentional about that, one week to the next, and then situational, man, where you complement each other. There's no question. If defense, for whatever reason, maybe the defense is, they got 5 guys out with COVID, right? And so we're a little short. We're already thin. Well, do what you can to buy them some time. Don't see how fast you can go 3 and out. Okay, all game long. All right, so you got to be smart, and it's just common sense. And I think it's awareness by everybody. Being on the same page. And the flip side is, sometimes it's okay to win. 3-0. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And
now
so,
you're speaking Teddy's language.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do a 3-0 game.
How about we don't?
I actually think our fans would love that. Maybe not at the moment, but looking back on it, be like, hell yeah. Shutout, baby.
Coach, we got one more. We'll let you get out of here. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time. But when it comes to the players, and you talk about, everything being intentional, I saw something that you guys posted on Twitter about the 212 club, and there were 6 guys in it. And it was Jeffrey Johnson, McCade Mattower, Dylan Gabriel, Woody Washington, Marvin Mims, and then Eric Gray. What have those 6 guys done up to this point to kind of separate themselves to where you guys decided to give them that recognition?
Yeah, I think it's as simple as this. You just got to care a little more. Just care a little more. That's it. You work a little more. You work a little harder. Care a little more. And it's that that mindset, that little bit more effort, that little bit more focus, that little bit more toughness. That's what it takes. Difference between good and great. As we know, 211, that's when you get that water boiling. And at 212, man, that's when it's steaming and great steam, and run a locomotive, and just the difference between, what 1 degree does. And I think it's, the players are visual. They get that. They understand that. They've actually, we hand out the 212 chips, and so more guys have been, maybe for their day's work, man, you turned it up today. You were 212 all day today. Players get that. It's a way to quantify, I had a great day today. Be great today, right where your feet are at. And if you do that, that's the one way, man, you have a chance to have success, that daily commitment to excellence. And that's what we want them to push for. We got to be very intentional. And I think when you have something that you can allow the players to recognize and to validate it, to reward them with, I think it creates more buy-in and more excitement, more passion, more all of it. And but those guys have, they've really exemplified what that looks like for us. But I think it goes back to just care a little bit more. When you care a little bit more, man, you'll do, you'll go the extra mile in everything that you're doing.
We'll get you right back to the interview. But first,
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School has a long tradition of educational excellence. Just look at Mr. Ikard sitting right there, the shining example of Bishop McGuinness. With a 12-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, no student is overlooked. Bishop McGuinness's college prep curriculum offers 22 AP courses. There are numerous clubs and organizations for students to join, and as a proud member of the OSSAA, there are 14 sports offered. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
And if you're a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you are doing, head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage Single Malt Whiskey. It was just voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn Whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That's the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones Pot Still Bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year-round. In 2012, Balcones Single Malt won the Best in Glass competition, beating brands like Johnny Walker and Macallan, and became the first American distillery to win the competition. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, then Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners, yeah, they're from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com. All right, back to the interview.
I know we said one more, but I want just a quick follow-up on that. So there's 6 guys and 4 of them are transfer guys. And maybe I always look at things with a negative viewpoint, but to me that says, why do we have transfer guys that are the hungriest guy on the team? You know what I'm saying? It's like, is there anything to that? Like, are the guys maybe that have been here, I don't want to say entitled, but I don't know. Is there anything to that at all?
Here's
the
what
first
I
thing
would
that
tell
sticks
you.
out to me.
I would say just because don't take those other guys getting rewarded as an indictment on everybody else. That's the first thing I would say, because that couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, those were just the ones that were recognized. Instead of recognizing 20 of them at once, all right, let's recognize some guys that were, have just been the most consistent. There's probably a couple other guys that could have been in there. Just how that works sometimes. And I think that's very important, because that's how we look at it. That's not an indictment on everybody else. I think sometimes, remember what I said when we signed up, we're going to be very intentional about finding the right people that are in the portal. They're not everybody's a meathead. They're on a life support academically, or they're on their 9th live as because they can't be trusted, and they can't make a play, or they're not good enough where they're at. Not everybody's like that. Okay. I think that's negligent just to throw everybody, transfer portal, he must be a terrible teammate. That's not true. You have to evaluate everybody's circumstances differently. Okay. I think and it takes time to do that. But, we found we're super intentional about, okay, this is the vision for what it looks like to me. Okay. This is what fits for us. And man, we try to peel the onion back, lift up the cushions, look in the closet. When you get somebody say they're going to come over swing by their house, and you got 15 minutes, man, you start shoving everybody in the closet and underneath the couch. and so we know, so we look behind the curtains and open the doors and lift the cushions up, and we tried to do that. You know, we're not going to be, mistake free in some of those decisions, but so whether it's Dylan Gabriel, who's had a career of excellence, Jeffrey Johnson, who's been a 4-year starter. I don't care where you at. You should go to college and start 4 straight years, man. You got something to you. Okay. Same thing, Cade Mator, he goes there as a true freshman, goes all the way to California from Houston, and he's a starter in the Pac-12, and man, people around it, man, they couldn't say enough good things about his toughness, his leadership, his maturity. Some of those things always come with you. Okay. Same thing. He smokes dope, don't go to class, makes excuses, terrible teammate. That'll come with you too. You recruit your problems. Okay. The flip side, you also recruit all those other intangibles, leadership, toughness, stick to itness, they show up every day, passionate, intentional, great teammate, bring the best out in people, know how to work, know how to compete, know how to respond. Okay. Those take, again, guys that, if you just look at the things that take no effort whatsoever, right? Being on time, have a great work ethic, great body language, energy, attitude, passion, go above and beyond in everything that they do. Man, none of those things take any talent whatsoever. So we try to find guys that have those intangibles, that, hey, they just so happen they want the Oklahoma experience. Like I said, that's not their success right now, and what it doesn't guarantee they're going to have success when we start spring ball. Man, next day they got to start over and do it again. And but there's other guys that easily could have been right there in that group too, and for whatever reason they got recognized first, but there'll be more. I'm telling you, we got a lot of buy-in, man. It's been crazy impressive. And me better than anybody, Ted. I don't get all fired up, with false narratives. I'm not, oh man, I got to be Mr. Positive. I am, I bring juice, energy. I know I'm a believer in the work that you put in right here, right now, in this moment to get the result that we want. I believe in that. Okay. I'm committed to that. I know the result of that. And, but man, our guys have been amazing, and guys that have been here, maybe some guys that have been in the outhouse, if you will, they're changing. They're saying it. Their teammates are saying it. The support people that have been here are saying it. And so you're just, again, trying to get that done. Again, changing behaviors and mindset and attitude and outlook, habits, you're trying to just change those, influence those, one conversation, one workout, one day at a time, and but more than anything else, they got to know that we believe in them. That's our job, and you got to create a vision for what we want, and then you've got to support them and motivate them, inspire them, challenge them, all of it. That's our job as coaches, and our coaches have been doing a great job, but they've been doing a terrific job of buying in. And so that's super encouraging, really, really, really encouraging. Before we ever get to the practice field, it's been a real fun, 3 months, and especially since we've been able to start to be around the guys a lot more after recruiting got over and whatnot. So far so good. And I know there are going to be some moments where you have a tough day. That's going to happen. That. And when the hotter it gets, things are going to get stirred up. We know. And again, you have the challenge overall of spring ball is, how many days can you quantify winning? Having a good day, not a perfect day, but a day that you said, man, we got better today. We moved the needle just a little bit at a time. You don't need to move it all the way over here. Just move it a little bit at a time. Hey, once in a while you might move it. You can't do that very often, man, but you gotta be that graph on the S&P 500, right, man? What you don't want, you want to avoid some of those crazy days, right? Like we're living in some crazy times. But so anyway, I think I would say you better guard against indicting everybody else that didn't make it or players that have been here. Cause I've been fired up and go down that list, and I will at some point in time. You got to keep proving it and earning it every day. And we want to reward those guys for their exceptional work, though, right now.
I know coaches always hand it to quarterbacks too, just because they're the leaders. So we got to give them the freebies. Voted the captain.
Yeah.
BS.
Hey, listen. He's earned that, though. Trust me.
No, I know he has.
Yeah.
I do have one other question. I know we said one more and that was one more, but this is just for me, just so I know I know how to prepare. If I come to a spring practice, can I cheer when the offense does well, or are you going to get mad at me?
I'll probably get mad. I'll be honest.
That was our relationship
you know
when I was playing. You and I had an interesting. There was a lot of yelling at each other in a competitive way.
And when you left, it kept happening. Okay, because I'm competitive, you're competitive. I'm trying to go out there and dominate. I'm trying to cut the lifeline out completely. And but it doesn't matter what campus you go, what professional organizational you go, then whoever's at practice, whether it's managers, it's support staff, whatever, somebody catches the touchdown, everybody's like, oh, it's great. And you make a defensive play and nobody says nothing. That's just the way it is. And
okay, fine. I'll cheer for the good defensive plays too.
Well,
jeez.
Good. Well, you should.
I'm writing it down.
Hey,
me and Teddy will just come together, and Teddy can cheer for the defensive plays, and I can cheer for the offensive plays. There, perfect balance.
Hey, listen, I was my first spring at Clemson. Oh my gosh, it was just, I got baptized. But there was Nuke Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, Martavis Bryant, Jerron Brown, Adam Humphreys. These are all, I think one guy might be suspended from the NFL, but everybody else is still just dominating. Had Taj Boyd, who was, all world, all ACC, all everything. We had a great running back. I forget his name right now, but anyway, oh my gosh. And so, I heard the band was playing from start to finish. My first spring ball there. It was pretty demoralizing.
I know Dabo was probably just turning it in too, right?
Oh, he's getting his arm around me, just trying to talk me off the cliff. He's actually pretty good, man. But yeah, I was ready to. So anyway, it's good. But yeah, don't worry, Gabe. Everybody does just what you're doing. Even my own wife, she's over there cheering. I'm like, hey, who you working for? It's like, that's not a good thing.
I promise I'll cheer when the defense does well. I'll cheer. Hey, I'll just cheer the whole time. I'll just stand there and be quiet. How about that?
Teddy knows that's going to be my biggest challenge. And you know what? I've heard that from coaches my whole career. The head coach said, you get excited for both, and sometimes you feel like you're in conflict. And the players are going to always watch on tape. The players are always watching the head coach. I don't know if they know that especially when you're at spring ball.
That bias is.
Yeah, we want to see what his reactions are. So you got to kind of create us against the world mentality anyway, right? To kind of to get mission accomplished. So, but really, I can't say it enough. Just, we got to have a daily commitment. You just go to spring ball, just like we are right now. We're one day at a time, class, tutors, learning specialists, nutrition, show up to workouts with the right stuff on, attitude, mindset, how we respond, body language, effort. That's literally, how we're going to judge ourselves every day. Just, our daily commitment. What does that look like? Here's the standards. Here's the expectation. Now be committed to it today. And that's instead of trying to overwhelm our guys with these, unrealistic, quote unquote goals, whatever those are, we really want to focus on that and just make it easy, show up and just don't worry about depth charts and all that kind of stuff. That don't matter right now, man. Just come out and compete, work, fight, be a great teammate, respond, be again, just focused on it. Your effort, your mindset, your body language, your intensity, your aggressiveness, show up with purpose every day. Don't just show up every day with intention and purpose. And because I know we're going to, as a staff, and my expectations, the coaches that I've hired, their responsibility is to get that out of their guys every day. And that's why they call you coach. You got to sometimes take players to places they can't go without you. And if it was so easy, they wouldn't need us. So we got to show up too every day. It ain't just them. It's me too.
Coach, we know you're busy. We appreciate you spending some time with us, man. It's been awesome.
Yep, you bet. It's been fun. I want to see you on that Russian roulette table too.
Oh yeah, I got a system. Man.
Oh my God. You're the guy. You're the one.
He's got it all figured out. He's got it all figured out. All right, BV, you're the man.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all, man. Take care.
Listen, I know ultimately he will be judged by how many games he wins as the head coach at Oklahoma, but I don't think I'd rather have any other man leading the program. I mean, unbelievable.
Totally agree. He's got all the priorities in the right spot, in my opinion, as far as building the football team from the ground up, starting with the program. I thought the line that really stood out to me was, I don't want a great team, I want a great program. And I think that's the key to having long-term success. You got to have all of the foundation built, the bones of the program intact, and that's what he's building, man. I love it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's any accident that you're seeing things, players that were at that junior day on Saturday. Seems like there's a pretty common theme of what they're building at Oklahoma is special. A lot of talk, a lot of use of the word culture, Ted. So yeah. I know he hasn't coached a game yet, but once again, he's doing it the right way. And I really hope it goes as well as I think it's going to go, because he's a fantastic man, which makes it really, really easy to root for him.
Yep. And the other thing is, I love that it's not that football is like the back burner issue for them. Like they're fully in, they're developing great systems, and they're going to start building that with the players. But as of right now, he's not worried about the football aspect of it at all. It's all about building the discipline, the culture, the details. And I think that's a great way to go about it.
Yep. You know what I love? Birthday shout outs.
Who doesn't love a birthday shout out?
Oh, you thought we weren't going to do them? Come on, people. Of course we're going to do them. Happy 6th birthday to Sammy Hill.
Happy 11th birthday to Big Will.
Happy 12th birthday to Jack Ford.
Happy 29th birthday to Mac Hayes.
Happy 33rd birthday to Greer Desura.
How about that? Happy 37th birthday to Heath Flowers.
Happy 37th birthday to Randy White. And happy anniversary, Randy, to you and your wife, Alia.
Nicely done.
Alia.
I think that's right.
Aulia. Alia. I'm going to final answer.
Happy 48th birthday to Timothy George.
Happy 65th birthday to Stan Bandwagon Speaks.
Happy 84th birthday to Joanne Campbell Hines.
Happy birthday to Sid Dixon.
Happy birthday to Kobe Jackson, and congrats on the birth of your son.
I'm not sure if the kid has been born yet, but the request, it seemed like the kid was soon to be born. So who knows?
Okay, well, awesome.
All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the weekend. As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
It's hard not to go with the women's gymnastics. We had a huge meet on Friday, 1 versus 2, hosting Michigan, number 1 Michigan, coming in against number 2 Oklahoma, and didn't disappoint. Went out and got the win. Had a 10 score on a vault. Total team effort. Saw Coach Venables was there. They had a big group that showed up there to support. Was really cool, and a massive, massive victory for the women's gymnastics.
I feel like women's athletics at Oklahoma is absolutely rolling right now.
It is.
Yeah. I know that those programs probably don't get the attention they deserve for the most part, even though they're some of the most successful programs, not only at OU, but in the country. Now, softball has turned into an absolute beast, right? That is getting a lot of attention. But yeah, I mean, with gymnastics, softball, now with what Jenny Baranchek's doing with basketball, man, women's athletics at OU it's rolling, man. It's really cool to see.
You could pull women's gymnastics national championship, softball national championship, and there's no result that would shock me for the women's basketball, man. They, as much as they score, they could be something really to contend with in the tournament. So yeah, we're rolling right now and coming off some really good performances there in the gymnastics.
Yep. All right, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Man, I debated on this because
oh no,
the men's
oh no, he's doing it again.
They've won 3 straight, Gabe, but they're still nowhere to be found on any of the bubble talk at all. Not even mentioned anywhere. As far as I've dug around, it's like it's going to take some unbelievable performance in the conference tournament to get them back on the page. I don't think they would have to win it, but they're going to have to win multiple games, and that's going to be tough. Unfortunately, winning those final 3 puts you in a position to where right out of the gate you're going to be drawing a really, really tough game. So, man, I hate to say that it's almost too little, too late for the OU men's hoops team.
It's unfortunate because first time they've won in Manhattan in a decade.
I know.
And crazy. It's like, oh yeah, does it really? I really wish it felt like it mattered more. And I will say, Mo Gibson was awesome. I don't know why they didn't just run him off the line and make him do anything else but shoot threes. But hey, if they're going to give it to you, keep firing, Mo. Keep firing. And he was,
what did he end up with,
29?
Yeah, he's great.
He was 7 of 12 from 3.
7 to 12. I think he had 28 points or something. It was a really nice performance by him. He's had some really, really nice performances. But he's had his struggles as well. But that consistency is going to be something that they're going to have to build on. But I was frustrated because I thought, all the talk was, hey, they win those final 3, they get to that win total, they're going to be right back with a chance to get in if they get a win in the Big 12 tournament. But man, it sure doesn't feel like anyone's I feel like OU fans are the only people saying that right now because they've totally disappeared from the tournament narrative as at least at this point.
So Joe Lunardi put something out 2 hours ago, Ted, and the way that Joe Lunardi does it, he's got his first 4 out and then his next 4 out. And then in this small little font, he puts next. And the first team on next is Oklahoma. Ooh. We are back on the map, baby.
Yeah.
And if only the Sooners had a matchup with a really, really good team to make a nice big splash. Come on, Baylor.
Yep.
Come on, Baylor, you don't need the win. You're going to be a 1 seed. Come on, Baylor.
Get some rest, recover. Don't mess around with the conference tournament. No need with that. It's all about the big tourney. Let's hope they get that done, man. Hey, they've played with all of the best teams in this conference. Haven't beaten, but they've played really, really tight games with all of them. So they do have some good mojo going right now. That would be big time because I want to see them make the tournament. I think that'd be a good experience for those guys. Definitely be tough going, but still, man, it'd be huge.
Yeah. Baylor and Oklahoma there in Kansas City, 6:00 p.m. on Thursday night, which that's when we film the huddle. Are we not your problem. Not your problem. We'll
deal with it.
We'll text the people from Sooner Vision and see what's going on with that. But yeah, I'm intrigued if they can get that win on Thursday over Baylor, it could make things awfully interesting for Porter Moser's group. All right, for my winner of the weekend, I thought about going with LeBron James because, listen, the Lakers stink, but he was awesome against the Warriors on Saturday night. 56 points. I mean, it was really fun to watch, and roaring comeback for the Lakers to beat the Warriors, and LeBron had everything to do with it. So it was pretty sweet to watch him do it. But winners of the weekend, you guys at the NFL Combine. Perrion Winfrey is a man of his word.
That's right.
He told us he was going to run a 4.8, and that's exactly what our guy did. Official 4.89 at 290 pounds. I want to make something very clear. 4.89 is 4.8, ladies and gentlemen. If you run anywhere between 4.80 and 4.89, you run a 4.8. Them's the rules. That's how it works. I don't want to hear, well, it's way closer to 4.9 than 4.8. I don't want to hear it. If you're a 4.89 guy, Ted, that's 4.8. That's how it works.
And you can take that 9 out as many decimal places as you want. It's still a 4.8. And no, that was great. Did you see the close up where his chain broke?
Yeah. Did you see the crazy look in his eyes?
Yeah. It reminded me of when Forrest Gump's running out of the leg braces, right? He's breaking free and off he goes. That was awesome.
Well, our man Perrion, maybe he could have used one of those leg braces, pulled the hammy. So I wonder how much faster he would have been if he didn't pull the hammy there at the very end. But still, with what he did at the Senior Bowl, and then you stack, not only I think he was really impressive in the interviews, and you saw a bunch of media members being like, this guy's awesome. His media availability, he was making headlines. He was great. I think when you combine all of that, the Senior Bowl MVP, and him going out there and running that time, man, you talk about a guy that's just had a absolutely spectacular pre-draft process. Since he opted out of the bowl game of the Alamo Bowl to where he's at now, dude's been on a mission. And my goodness, he has improved his stock. Like, really, really improved it. It's unreal.
Yeah. Really good performance. And that 4.8 is amazing. It's just in thinking about that, like how good that is for him. Watching Jordan Davis run his 40 is
what
6'6", 3. I don't know what his official weigh-in was.
341.
That's crazy.
4.78.
4.78.
Ran. Did you see his broad jump? 10.3. Defensive tackle record at the combine since like 06 or whatever.
That's insane.
At 341.
It's insane. Wow.
I don't know what else to say. Like, and maybe the most, because I love watching the D-line and O-line drills and all that stuff. I know some people think they're stupid. That's fine. Whatever. But him going through the bags and just how fluid he looked. And I was bummed for Perrion that he hurt the hammy and couldn't show, kind of the athleticism and all the drills. But Jordan Davis, like at the very end, you do this little like dip thing to simulate kind of like running the hoop. You should be able to move that way at that size. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's amazing.
And I still think he should play offensive tackle. I sound stupid when I say that. I think he would make a lot more money in his career if he switched the offensive tackle right now.
He'll definitely play longer. Well, if he could pick it up and get the technique, and I mean there's a big learning curve there. D-line is like there's pass rushing is a skill and all of that, but it's really about explosiveness, right? If you could blow through a block, then you've got it. But offensive line tackle requires a ton of technique work. Have you seen anyone come in like that late and pick it up that quick?
No, not really. But if there's one person I think he could do it, I'll put my money on Jordan Davis doing it. Now he's not going to do that. I'm not trying to make it sound like it. I would just be more curious than anything. If he was like, you know what, I'm gonna play left tackle, I'd be like, yes.
Well,
yes.
on the flip side of that, I think and I wish Venables and crew would why am I drawing a blank? Big up 5-star offensive lineman for more.
Bray Walker.
I think they should move Bray Walker to D-line. Nose guard.
I know that he's improved over the last couple of years, but yeah, haven't made it on the field as an offensive lineman. Now, normally offensive line's the last stop. You know what I'm saying? But
give me a gigantic strong dude right there at the point of attack. And I don't know, but we've really veered off from Perrion Winfrey's 4.8.
Correct. Yeah. Let's talk about Nik Bonitto.
Let's get this back in.
First thing about Bonitto, we said he had to come and just kill it at the combine. Man, he looked solid. 248 pounds. I thought he looked a lot thicker and ran an official 4.5440. A phenomenal time for
Really
him.
good.
And I feel like this is going to get a lot of teams' attention. I feel like he's a guy that's kind of slipped off the radar when it comes to, people talking about the big time prospects at the edge position. And I think this got him back on the radar. He had a really nice combine. I expect this to have a lot of teams going back to the tape and going, okay, let's take another look at Nik Bonitto, because clearly the physical tools are there. Now, only 32.5-inch arms, which, by the way, longer than Aiden Hutchinson's. Turns out Aiden Hutchinson has little T-Rex arms. But I think Bonitto did himself a whole lot of good.
Nope, I totally agree. He's got some decent film out there. He's beat some tackles and some nice one-on-ones. I think he did a really good job in that short spy that they have with him. He had a lot of production out of that. I think one of the problems he's going to face, or one of the criticisms, is motor. There's a lot of times whenever he's not just one of the guys that flies to the football. So that's something I think he's going to have to fight a little bit. But whenever you're nearly 250 pounds and you're running a 4.5, and you're a guy that can win off the edge, you're going to definitely get drafted. It's just I don't know where he's going to be picked, but that's a nice showing for him. Absolutely.
Yeah, and to Bonitto's defense, we've talked about him kind of being a tweener, but you and I, especially last season, if they just would have let the guy rush like straight up some more, man, who knows what the production would have been. Right? I don't know. I hate to relitigate that, but it makes you wonder. Seeing him look that way and run the time he did, I was just like, damn it, why didn't they just let the guy go? Stop making him be the looper and just let him rush. Just let him rush a tackle one-on-one. Isaiah Thomas. Thought he looked really good. And I know that, he's not the most explosive guy. You look at his vert, you look at his broad, like nothing that's going to wow you. Also, no red flag numbers there. But at 266 pounds, running a 4.70 official 40, like, I thought that was a really good time for IT.
No, I think it's a really good time. And it's a guy that has shown that he can do all kinds of different things for you. He can bump down inside. He can play a traditional hand down defensive end. He's still in the size category for a stand-up outside backer. He's a guy that he's really smart. He plays hard. I think he's definitely going to get a shot somewhere. And he's 266. And if you want him to be a hand down defensive end, he's going to put weight on. If he plays multiple years in the NFL, he's going to end up, in my opinion, around that 280, 285 number probably. Yeah. So, yeah, I think he brings a bunch of different angles for a defensive lineman for a team to pick up.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, Brian Asamoah, man told us he was going to run 4.5, and ran 4.56, and that'll do. That'll do. Now, when he ran and it was like 4.71 unofficial, I was like, that's not right. That's not right. That's wrong. But I will say this. The fact that I would have lost every dollar to my name if someone would have said, hey, I'll bet you that Malcolm Rodriguez runs a faster 40 than Brian Asamoah. I think I would have bet every dollar to my name on Asamoah. Now, Asamoah ran well. 4.56 is moving. But what, Rodriguez at 4.52? What? But, hey, no surprise with Asamoah. He weighed in at 226, which I thought was a good weight for him. Yeah. And, man, he can fly. He looked good doing it.
Yep. And it just goes to like his biggest asset is his explosiveness. Like whenever he pulls the trigger, he can go. And that number right there backs it up. He's got good film, has a motor. He's going to get an opportunity.
Yeah. So we re-recorded this, or we are recording this as Delarrin Turner-Yell is going through the drills. He just ran his first 40, 4.51 unofficial.
That's good.
Which, check the box.
Yep. That's good.
Plenty fast.
Plenty of speed right there. That's actually.
That's huge for him.
Yeah.
I was thinking high 4.5.
Yeah. That's good. That is a really solid number because he's a thick built type of guy. Yeah, I love that. That's really good. Now, safety is an interesting position whenever it comes to the draft. You've got to be a serious outlier physically to go really high in the draft at safety. If you're not that, there's like a big gap between where safeties go. It's like they disappear off the board for like 3 rounds. So I don't know. I feel the same way about him as I do like a Norwood. He's a great football player that can play multiple positions, smart, could be a special teams guy. I think he'll get an opportunity.
And then Tyrese Robinson and Marquis Hayes, they ran fine. No one's drafting those guys for their speed. I think Tyrese was a 5.2 and then Marquis a 5.3. It's all about the tape with offensive linemen, and can't wait to talk to those guys here at Pro Day about how the interviews and all that stuff went for them. So I thought they both looked smooth though in the drill, especially Tyrese. Now that, he's kind of back to being a guard, I think like people are recognizing that he's got really, really nice feet for a guy that's going to be playing on the inside. So I think as far as I could tell, everything went pretty well for those two.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, the combine is interesting for offensive line. A lot of those, you could definitely find guys that are like outliers athletically, like a Lane Johnson and stuff like that. But I guess it's kind of hard to stand out in that crowd, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah,
but
if you run really fast in the 40, then you stand out along the offensive line stuff. Other than that, they're like, oh, this is great, but we're going to go watch your tape.
Right.
All right. For my loser of the weekend, thought about going with Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a great situation. She has been detained in Russia for who knows how long. It sounds like it's a bit of a mystery how long she's been detained there in Russia. She had some weed vape cartridges in her luggage when she was going through security at a Russian airport. And clearly the timing is interesting with what's going on with the United States relations with Russia currently. But I read something from the New York Times. It sounds ridiculous, but she could be charged for an offense that carries a sentence of up to 10 years behind bars in Russia.
That's crazy. That's insane. The timing could not have been worse either.
You think?
It's.
I just hope she's all right. Like no one. I mean, have you seen anything from her? I haven't seen anything of her being like, "Hey guys, I'm good."
No, and as you could probably guess, a Russian prison is no walk in the park. And it's weird. It's at a time whenever like the United States has no leverage at all right now on an issue like this. A lot of times we see internationally if someone gets in some type of issue, you can go in and start some negotiations on their behalf, but the timing is so bad for anything like that. Wow.
Yeah,
check the local laws before you go taking any drugs internationally.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you're wondering what she's doing over there, a lot of women play professionally in Russia. They get paid really, really well. So those WNBA
it's like a
players,
double league deal, right? They'll go playing and then come back.
Yeah. So it's a scary situation, man. So wishing for the best for, one of the best women's basketball players in my lifetime. So we'll see, but yeah, yikes. But there's only one that can be selected for loser of the weekend, and it's Coach K and Duke. Probably best described as a beautiful disaster. I mean, people spent ridiculous amounts of money to be inside Cameron Indoor for Coach K's last home game. Students camped out for, I guess, like months to get the student tickets for it. There are like 100 former Duke players there. They all had matching T-shirts on. They did a picture and all of that before the game. ESPN promoted the absolute hell out of it all week, only for the pregame ceremony and all that took place before this thing tipped off to be relegated to ESPN2 because Texas and Kansas went to overtime. All this buildup just for Duke to get smacked in the second half by North Carolina.
Oh.
It was intoxicating to watch. I have never been a Duke guy, and it all stems back to when I was in high school and Coach K was at one of our AAU games watching a couple guys on our team. And after the game, we ran into him, and it was just me and another guy. We asked him for a picture. He said no. I've hated the man ever since.
Wow.
I was like 13 or 14.
Dang.
So rooted that, never forgotten that. And North Carolina, that was so funny. If four North Carolina starters went over 20. Our guy Brady Manick with some absolute daggers late in that game. Duke just couldn't guard Carolina. I mean, Duke just could not stop them offensively. And by far the best part of it, right? There's the buildup, kind of the disaster of the broadcast for ESPN. They were not in a good spot. That was brutal. But then you had the game, and we all had that realization moment where it was like, oh my gosh, Duke is going to lose. And like they're cutting to all the people in the crowd. They all have got their faces painted. All the former players have this look on their face like, oh my God. And by far the best part, Coach K, after the game, unplanned speech, and just talks about it was unacceptable. It like tells people to be quiet. He's like, be quiet, be quiet. It was unacceptable. The season has been acceptable. And then I will say, Duke only has one choice. Now, those players, can you imagine how bad those players feel? Oh my gosh. But Duke has one choice. The only way this isn't remembered as like one of the hilarious things in sports is if they go win the national title now, which they are more than capable of. They've got like 4 guys that, whether it's this year's draft or next year's draft, are going to go in the first round. Like, they got talent. There's no doubt. But if they don't, especially with him saying at the end of that unplanned speech after the game, he was like, the season isn't over, and like walked off. It was like his drop the mic moment, except for the mic was on a stand, unfortunately, for Coach K. That could either be the start of the championship DVD, or it could be another thing where it's like now they go lose in the first round, and it just all burns to the ground for Duke. It was hilarious, though. I enjoyed every second of it.
It's tough, man. And all the buildup, like, this game is always a big game, obviously, but the buildup just puts so much undue pressure on everyone involved. Like, Coach K's coached, I don't know how many thousand games there, but him, his players, all like ESPN just making such a huge deal of it and then bringing in so many former players. It's like, the game is hard enough as it is. Like, that type of pressure, and it's your coach's last one there for the regular season. That's is awesome. I love that North Carolina got such a kick out of it, though. That was great. Did you see them flood downtown?
Did you see that? Did you see the handshake line between the coaches after the game?
No.
Couple blow-bys.
Really?
Couple blow-bys. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, no one went full Juwan Howard or anything, but there were a couple blow-bys by some Duke coaches, and I was like, oh, how satisfying was that game if you're associated in any way with North Carolina. Oh my
Amazing.
gosh.
Amazing. I love that Manic was a factor there late, looking like Sons of Anarchy, dropping threes on the road. Awesome. Love
They've
it.
had quite the resurgence, North Carolina,
Yep.
but that was hilarious. And it was like watching a train wreck, man. It was just like, oh, I couldn't look away. It was great.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Episode 195 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop Wednesday afternoonish. We're going to do a recap of OU Pro Day. So Teddy and I will both be on the coverage for that. And our plan is to record basically right after, right?
Yep. Sounds good.
So you'll get our fresh thoughts on what we see at OU Pro Day. No, we'll probably do winners and losers of the week. That's probably it. But just a reminder, you can hear Teddy from 3 to 6 on 94.7 The Ref. You can hear me from 3 to 5 on Sirius XM Big 12 Radio, channel 375. Hope you all have a great week. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening and do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.